Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So it looks like Bitcoin is struggling between the 0.65 and the 618 of this diagonal pitch fan we've had price trapped in since January. Where are the pivot points? We had this little liquidity grab to the downside here on November 9th and 10th, and that was where we put the pivots, and that has been where we've been trapped at price in for some time now. And we bang our head up against this 0.65 and do this ascending channel thing. Let's go see where the liquidity lies on this Friday, November 24th here in Asia, although some of you are getting your turkey on across the world, so enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. I got something from Costco yesterday. Let's go ahead into the, yo, what's up APV? Let's go into the high block. What is high block, you say? Well, people lock that liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now. So we were talking about possibly coming down into that $250 million pool over here at 36,667. We came down slightly, but we did not clear the zone, which is interesting to note. We did not grab that $250 million 100x pool. It is the thickest band nearby, and we are creating a rounded top, so as they came into these 100x shorts, they could be continuing into this pool down below. So watch out if you are long. Let's go ahead and take a look at the higher time frame pools. Let's go see what is percolating on the higher time frame as we expand our vision to the higher time frame pools. Starting with the 7-day. So the 7-day has a little bit of happiness up above at that 38k region to sweep the highs there. That is the largest liquidity zone. The entire region here is thicker in liquidity than down below if you're just going off of the 7-day time frame all the way up to 38,750. The 7-day has more liquidity there. If we expand our vision to the 1 month, we will see the larger draw on liquidity down at that 34k sweep range that we were talking about. A lot of longs looking to get paid, and they're holding their positions, but you have a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 billion $100 billion plus zone down there that they could come back to. So as I've been saying for some time, the 34k sweep, when is it going to happen? I would love to see it. Sweep, stop out all the longs, would give you a better bullish order block long potential than any of the scalping of the longs up here. Granted, they could come up and stop out some of these shorts at 38.8 and that pool that they're percolating up above at that 40k, as well as we expand our vision to the 3-month. 3-month has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 billion plus 60 billion up at that 38.8 region on the 3-month time frame. The overall draw being thicker to the downside, this entire bit of happiness down below. Expanding to the 6-month. 6-month starts to fade and show a little bit more to the downside here at that 33.9 sub 33.9 region. And if we go to the highest time frame of the 2-year, we can see that all of this has been requited, and we have more down in that 33.6, although starting to percolate a $70 billion pool up at 41.2 and 46 billion and 50 billion at 40,004. So there is $160 billion or so up in that region on the 2-year that is starting to percolate. There is one pool up since May, 47 billion, that is still there for that to be taken. We are talking about getting this zone caked up. There was previously 0 on November 6th. Now there is 22 billion at 39.2. So they managed in their barcoding of the price to bring in 22 billion to that 39.2 region, which was previously threadbare. Same with the 39.6 and 40k now has 23 billion from the previous 10 billion. So if you watch how they cake it up, they have caked it up these gap regions to aim at that 41k. If that is your analysis, they do have that possibility if there is a target up there worth going all the way up here to grab. The overall liquidity tug of war seems to be waning to the downside, though. I'd put my money on a short entry at some point for a swing play to the downside to that sub 34k region as we go into the charts here. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we do have that target zone that matches the liquidity on the impulse retrace of this trend based fib level that is holding that 236. So that is why it's still there. So we could be sweeping up in this region. I'll just leave that on the table. I don't see a clear bearish trend, as you see this basically creating an ascending channel here. The channel trend line did break here, and we did this little liquidity grab and came back into the channel, but could be rounding out a top to come lower. Let's go ahead and throw on the momentum, shall we? Momentum. By the way, Momentum Master does have a sale going on. You can see the little code. I think it's, which direction do I point? That way, yeah. So it's over there for that 40% off idea. Coming down to the features, toggle at your leisure, turn on the trend cloud, the baselines, the stochastic array. Main thing that you'd be getting this. So why would you get, why fork over the money, right? Well, the stochastic array alone and the dynamic alerts just has you at hello every time. I look at my phone, I see when the MACD has crossed, I see which direction the market is headed, and I see how overbought and oversold we are. So it just keeps you plugged in even if you're shopping. So that's one of the reasons why the price tag is what it is. It was a large challenge to program and find those back tested levels too. Can't just give that away for free. So as the 12-hour time frame is showing this cloud of this thin curvature, do we find support and continue higher? First, let's go to the daily time frame. I believe the 3-day closed just now. Well, first let's hold ourselves to the flame of what we said yesterday. So we were talking about possibly coming down to the pool here. We did not hit that 618 region. So where did we actually hit? Did we hit the equilibrium? We went just below the equilibrium. We did not even hit the 618 region at all, which is strange. If you go pull this from, let me take this off really quick. If we take this from a level here, basically if you take it from the second impulse, then you have that hit the 618 pocket a little bit. So I guess doing a more frugal pull of the fibs would have given you that entry model area. But we were looking at this overall zone, which it did hit. It came up for a stop hunt first and continued this over. It was a little bit delayed, but the ABC did play out. This pool is still there, so we're going to leave that there until it's hit. And yeah, let's just go ahead and make our descent through the time frames after we clean that up a little bit. So the 3-day Bitcoin 3-day time frame. So we had this massive wick up above the adaptive here on the 3-day. We are holding the adaptive moving average, which is a bullish feature, which we've talked about since our rejection of it back here in March. This adaptive has been a draw, and now we are holding it. So even if we come down to that 36K region, there is, or even wick below but come back, we are starting to create a range to possibly flip this region into support. If we go to the 3-day is still drifting on the Williams and the money flow and the RSI at the overbought regions, not yet giving the bearish tone, but setting the stage for that possibility. One thing to note, this is something that takes a while to develop. These baselines on the 3-day are above the price, and they are getting mighty close together. When was the last time the baselines made that cross down event? Well, we were also streaming at that time. It was July. In July 24th, we had that cross down event where the baselines were beneath, or were above the price, and we crossed down, and sure enough, we had just straight downside from that point. So this will be something we will monitor as the days close in the days ahead, as the baselines show a potential fatigue coming on the 3-day. Daily. If we go to the daily, the baselines have been meandering around above the price here as price attempts to make a surge up into the shorts to keep the shorts on their toes, not give them easy entry access. The daily stochastic and the money flow at an oversold status. The money flow disparity beneath the RSI suggests you could get a push up for a one more time hurrah to the upside. Does that coincide with the liquidity? Yes, there is a justification to come up to that 38,215 region. We have those pools mapped out for you for some days now, so there is a idea to come up to these 38 to 38.7 regions, possibly. Coming to the 22-hour time frame, 22 hours. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. So the 22-hour cloud is also like the 12-hour cloud, starting to taper here to that 3 o'clock level. You did get a cross up event, and you're starting to hold the baseline still, ambiguously holding that 50 region on the money flow and the RSI. The money flow and the RSI have been at that 50 level for some time now. The Williams also ambiguously in the overbought, just below overbought status. Coming to no insinuation of anything there just yet. 12-hour time frame, the subtle support of the 12 hours starting to make this double triple top idea on the Williams, pushing up here on the stochastic, and the money flow also been meandering around at even Steven levels at that just above 50. And 6 hour, wait, we didn't do the cloud justice, so let's go back to our oscillator here. Okay, so the 12-hour time frame, we talked about having this stopping volume candle, and the last 24 hours have been a lackluster involvement due to obvious reasons. The holiday and people spending time with their family. They're not going to be trading as much if they're smart about it. So the money is lacking. I believe there is a holiday today too, if I'm not mistaken. At least in America, it's normally a 5-day weekend. So there could be no, let's just find out. Are the banks closed today in America? Branches will be closed on Thanksgiving. Are they closed? No, Black Friday are closed on Black Friday. Most banks will be open. Okay, so the banks are open on Black Friday. So 12-hour time frame giving some mixed signals on the ambiguous levels of the 50. I'd like to see a sharp reset of everything. Just give a very flush to that 34K region would just be beautiful. On the 6 hour, you are getting some bearish divergence up here into this level here, the bearish divergence on the money flow and the RSI starting to taper here as the money flows out to potentially give that last curveball surge to the upside. The 6 hour time frame, MACD approaching that 0 level, which either gets a sharp rejection or bursts up in a furious manner. No clear signal there. So far there's been no clear signal on any of the time frames. We're just doing our due diligence. The one thing to note on the 3-day was that potential cross down event coming soon in the next 6 to 9 days. If we look at this 4 hour, we're starting to get the money flow fatigue above the RSI. This is a little bit more of a bearish signal when you see this disparity between the money flow and the RSI. When the RSI is beneath the money flow, then you see this gap, but the price has essentially traded sideways. There is this fatigue potential on the 4 hour as we push up and go nowhere. There's money getting trapped in there to potentially go lower. We had previous bearish divergence on the RSI and the money flow. Did that play out all the way to this region, to the 618 bounce? Are we going higher? Let's go to the lower time frame to find out. We're still crossing up on the baselines, a lot of false signals, range trading, noise on those time frames. The 1 hour time frame had the opposite here as we came down and talked about coming down into this golden pocket region. You had the money flow beneath the RSI here, as you see it is beneath, and we had this hidden bullish divergence money crystal. We had a higher low and a lower low on the money flow, giving you the hidden bullish divergence, and the disparity between the money flow and the RSI gave you that nice little bounce, but lackluster at best because of the holiday. So we're seeing this money flow up on the hourly time frame here. Do we continue higher into Asia? The cloud also, we talked about coming back and kissing the cloud, that we had this curvature for you on the cloud in advance because we were back here yesterday. Yesterday was streaming from this point and we were talking about kissing the cloud, and we came back to kiss the cloud. This is why the volumetric cloud is also one of your partners in crime. Even if you're not a master of fibs, you can just see that it held the cloud and take a shot in the dark about it. One thing to note is the baselines that were previously crossing down on the hourly are starting to hold for a potential cross up event. I don't like to buy at these premium levels myself, so I'm not interested in whatever play is coming personally, but just giving you the play-by-play that it could come up into these pools and sweep the highs. But if we go to the 15-minute, is holding the 15-minute cloud here as the cloud shifts, and potentially, now they did that before and broke down at the cloud. We broke the super trend of the bearish nature here, and we could be starting to make a surge up on the 15-minute time frame. So you could see how the 15-minute gives it to you on a Friday. This is Run for Profit Friday, so coming up into a range and then spiking down to both sides could occur here. Do options expire today? Let's find out. Options expiration date calendar. So we go to today, November 23rd. This is a holiday, but there is no, the options was last week. Okay. So there is no options expiration today. So looking at the 15-minute, where do we go from here? Let's go ahead and expand our vision to the other ideas here on total. We'll come back to BTC in a bit. Got to kind of expand to the other markets and see what's up. Let's say what's up to everyone in here. With high block, can you set alerts when there's a certain amount coming in? That is a good question. I've never messed with it, but I don't believe so. I'd have to look more in detail about it. I've never done it, so it's not really a trading platform, so I'm gonna say no, but it's possible. But there's no like way to put it's like a web browser, so there's no alert button on here. But yeah, I mean, basically on Momentum Master B, you have this leading MACD right here. So this is a leading MACD formula, and when this line crosses up, for example, like you can mark this off here, it crossed up there. So what happened in the charts at that point? Oh, what do you know? We started to go up on total at that time with the baseline cross. So you can get the baseline alert to your phone. You can also get this MACD alert to your phone. So you can select a time frame, go to your Momentum Master B, hit the 3 dots, go to alert, say pump or dump, and then it will just let you know simply we're going down or we're going up. And you could say once per bar close, and every time this MACD crosses up or down, it will let you know the pivot in the market. Okay, so that is one feature I have personally. You can see over here I get notified every time on NQ or BTC about these things when it has shifted directions. I set it on a 5-minute chart, and I can just see when the market has shifted direction. So that's not volume based, but it is leading in nature. Most MACDs are laggard. This is a leading MACD formula in the background. So you can turn it on or have it off, but it will still notify you on the alert for that. So for the total, looks like the total is having a reaction on the cloud. The cloud is clean here. So we could be getting a push up into the liquidity. We're still respecting the bearish trend-based fibs on the 15-minute. Holding that cloud. We got that kiss to the cloud of the clan McClouds. And we're going to the 4-hour. Let's see. 4-hour cloud is holding. Still holding this bearish trend. We hit once, twice. So we could put a higher high in and then basically spike down, sweep these highs, and then do a sharp spike down at some point. Let's go look to the left and see what type of range we're dealing with over here. So I think we already ascertained there was a fair value gap in this region that we're coming back to. I can't go deep into this, so that's strange. I can't do a bar replay for the total. That's odd. Either way, so let's go back to the total 3. We came back into a equilibrium zone. On total 3 we did not. We were talking about possibly coming down. It did come down slight and start to come back. If we look at the crypto bubbles, we can see what is cracking. We have gas and MENA, OCP, OP, ICP, Immutable, Blur, Caspa, Sand, some of these AI coins. I think this is the AI one. I heard somebody talking about it. Gas. So it looks like we are getting a possible bounce. Like I said, I like to play the more discount region plays. This is a little bit high in my mind. If we look at the USDT dominance starting to come down and fade off of the cloud here as people put their money into trades. Wait, turning off the replay button. All right. So previously we came up into this cloud, rejected off the cloud. The cloud is starting to curve slightly here, giving, if this hasn't curved yet on the daily actually. If you look at it on the 12-hour, I think that's what we were looking at. So the 12-hour time frame, do we start to get some candles above this in the next 11 hours? If we get, so far we have rejected, which insinuates that we will come down a little bit more, possibly to this wick, and then come back in. But the overall insinuation here is that it is going to curve to the upside, so at some point going to knock people out of their trades. If it comes lower, this means people put money into the trades. If it goes higher, it knocks people out on the USDT dominance. If we go to DXY had this drop down as they gave some value back to the yen. Shout out to Dingo for that JPY USD idea that was, he pointed out down here at that rocket ship. We had the rocket ship down here for you. So those rocket ships blasted to the upside on JPY USD, and now we're starting to retrace back down to some levels. If we delete this and start to reassess, we have a little bit lower to go, perhaps down into these pockets. If it comes into those levels, that means the Dixie will possibly go up a little bit more. You had a stop hunt rise, and then looks like you could possibly dump though, but coming back down for a double bottom event. Just looking at that stop hunt and maintaining of the super trend. Some days it's not as clear as others. There's some days where our analysis is on point in the first 10-15 minutes, and then there's other days where it's just chop. And this is one of those days where it's just chop, and I'm not really interested in trading a holiday weekend because it makes the everything kind of off kilter. So be very, very careful on days like this when there is holidays and banks closed the day before and all sorts of unknown things. You have a PMI red folder event later tonight as well. You have an orange folder and another orange folder, so you have a few news events coming today, so be careful of those too. Volatility inbound. As of this moment in time, we are holding the cloud on the 15 and the hourly. So the suggestion is that it does sweep the high regions, so possibly giving this to the upside here and then rejecting off of that point as it holds this level of the cloud. Cloud is thick on the hourly, so we could be coming up to this region and clearing sweeping these liquidity pools up above. We did not clear everything, so there is some pools up in that 38,215 region and the 38,287. They're stacked up here, as you can see. I'm surprised they didn't hit that 100x guy down below, but hey, I mean, I could be surprised that they let this guy survive as they go up into this region. If you have anything you want to request, I'm open to requests right now. I gotta head into work early today, so I dropped my son off early and got an early start. Let's go ahead and look at Litecoin for my man Signified. They got that 382 bounce off the region here, basically recovered the entire drop down here, basically at break even now. And they came down to that 618 clean as a whistle went into the 0.66 of that and then started to V-shape out of that level. This could all be just a bearish retest by the fact that we're beneath the daily cloud here, and the daily cloud is starting to thin ever so slight. So as this daily cloud, you come up to it, do you start to get a little bit of a fatigue here on Litecoin as it starts to thin and taper? We also looked at Link for my man. Link, we called it to a T pretty much. We were talking about essentially coming up to a liquidity pool here, and then it did that. Now we're just hanging out in a region. Let me go ahead and remove all of this and start fresh. Actually, there might be something of value in there. Hold on. I guess this impulse, but we can just do it again. So let's just remove that. So you could draw a retracement from this bottom to this top. Switch this over to a deep retrace because we came down to that 786 and we're starting to come out here. If you're in a bearish modality here, then this could be coming like so. If we come beneath that 14.3 region, we already played this out, so I'm going to take that off. If you're starting to reject this 14.390 on Link, you could be coming lower in this manner here. All right, well, let's go take a look at what you guys have. Hey, what's up? Horse Farm Trading. Oh, really nice. 4 hour still looks good. 4 hour for BTC. Yeah, the 4 hour is still the drifting factor here. If you got the cross up event of the baselines holding the price as of this moment in time, you got this potential of this double top hurrah. The money flow disparity between this RSI and the money flow is the thing that has me raising an eyebrow here, because the money flow is tapering out, but the volume is tapering, but the money flow is going up, suggesting fatigue on the volume. So they could basically manipulate back down again abruptly after that. So you have all these pools that have been percolating that have not been hit since back in last Thursday, that they could be coming up into here, possibly. But it is Friday and you got all those red folders, so I would expect some sort of manipulation to occur. Not really seeing it so clearly today, to be honest with you. This cloud is what I don't trade against the cloud, so as the cloud shows this support, so shall it be. So it looks like the hourly and the 4 hour cloud, you got that 4 hour cloud kiss, and then boom, you were gone from that point. We talked about yesterday coming down to that level. The 618 was a little bit lower because we were pulling it from here, but if you pulled it from the 4 hour candle only, then we hit that 6.6 of that region also right off the cloud and bounced out. So as of this moment in time, until you negate some clouds, you are bullish in nature to come back up into this sweeping the high idea. Once again, looking at the narrative for that, I just try to disprove every idea and then boil it down at the end. So you have all those pools below we were looking at, you have all these pools above. Basically coming to the monthly time frame here, you have all of these pools to sweep on the monthly. The monthly has a little bit more to go to the upside nearby. The nearest pool is up at that 38.7, 38.8 region. We already ascertained there was about 100 billion up there. If we look at the 7-day too, the 7-day nearest pool is at that 38K and beyond region up here, 38,750. So sweeping up in this manner and then basically peeling it down for that run for profit could occur. Once again, for Asia, watch out for the Hong Kong pump and dump fade. If it pumps in Asia, they generally fade it into London. So if you see this pump up and then start to fade into London, you could get this pattern of dump into New York. There is a interplay between the sessions. If you pay attention to the sessions and how they intermingle, there is a indicator for that. ICT kill zones by Tradinator. You can see that on the 15-minute time frame. So we're entering the Asian one. Rarely does Asia pump it, but if they do, look for a fade into London. And that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Feeling a little bit bearish, just a bit. Well, just overall, we've been at this range for some time now, and they're giving insinuations of bearishness, but one last hit to the high perhaps, and giving those bears a little bit more something to scare them out of their trade on. If we come to a higher time frame and just look at everything on the higher time frame, starting to see we put in that higher high, we put in a lower high here. So if we put in one last hit to the high up here, 1, 2, 3 hits to that high region, this is where we hit up here at that 37, basically 38K. So if we go up to that 38K region one more time, that would be your third hit. 1, 2, and possibly a third hit coming. If you get that third hit to the high, how does it react off of that third hit will be the question. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everyone and everything. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. And we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the flip side.